A new scientific discovery has been made in the world of dolphins. Let's welcome back Lauren Rust, Executive Director of Lowcountry Marine Mammal Network. Great to have you with us.
Hi, thank you.
I am not going to pronounce the names. I'm going to let you do all that, but it's very exciting what the new discovery is all about. So maybe we can tell our audience just who these dolphins are.
Yeah, so researchers from the National Ocean Service, the Marine Mammal Fisheries Service, and the University of Louisiana embarked on a huge study looking at dolphins that stranded along the Atlantic coast, basically, and as well as locally here. And they determined they were a different species of dolphins. So sort of broke off from the original Atlantic or common bottlenose dolphins.
Yes, because we see a bottlenose dolphin, like Flipper and all the other bottlenose dolphins out there, we think that they are the same, but in fact they're not. And so how did they make the discovery to determine that these two were completely different?
Yeah, so they looked at a number of different samples, including genetics, size, distribution, so where they're, hanging out, even color patterns and food. And so they looked at animals that stranded, had washed up, and they measured, their skull, and they looked at their vertebrae and the genetics, and were able to determine they were actually a different species.
Really?
Yeah.
And their development, so there's some that develop more in the Atlantic area, and then some that were a little bit closer to land.
Exactly.
And so was that all determined based on their feeding, or how did?
Yeah, so kind of an easy way to put it, we think of sort of this, maybe small fish tank, small fish in a small fish tank, large fish in a large fish tank. So animals that live closer to the coast, anywhere kind of up and down the Atlantic coast, and then in our rivers, the estuary system, are actually smaller versus animals that are out in the big open ocean. They have more area to travel, larger predators, things like that.
Yeah.
And so our local dolphins are smaller. There's a different color pattern, and a lot of that's because they are feeding in some of these small rivers and creeks, and actually need a smaller body to kind of move around in those little systems.
Evolution is so fascinating, isn't it? For the person with the naked eye, can they tell the difference between the two if they were to see them side by side? No.
No, but what we're saying is anything that you're going to see here, along the coast, at the beaches, and in our river systems is going to be this new species.
Yeah.
The offshore animals, which would be, could be miles, 100 miles offshore, is the kind of the older species.
Okay, and the older species, how do you pronounce it?
So it's Tursiops truncatus.
Okay, and then the newer species
is Tursiopserebennus.
I say newer species, but I mean they've been around for a very long time. It's just that it's been recently discovered that they are two very different dolphins.
Yeah.
And are these dolphins, are they endangered at all? I mean, we always tell boaters, be careful out there, don't go racing through waterways. But are they endangered in any way?
To get really local, we always say our local dolphins, they're not considered endangered, and I don't know if that will change with the new species, but they are a very important species because they are, they're local. There's only 300 of them, and if something were to, wipe some of them out, say an oil spill, for example, they wouldn't, other dolphins aren't just gonna come fill that void. So they are significant in that, any large outbreak could have a huge impact on the population.
And these particular dolphins, and the common name is the Tannenmond dolphin. Tannenmond, I can say that much. But these particular dolphins, are these the ones that you see strand feeding that have that unique ability to kind of rush up on shore, feed on fish?
Yes. Yeah,
oh,
exactly.
Okay.
Yeah. Anything you're pretty much going to see from the beaches or the rivers doing that amazing local behavior is this kind of new species.
And how far up and down the coast do you see that type of dolphin? And anywhere else in the world besides here?
So right now they're just saying from New York to Florida.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yep. And then the estuary dolphins.
Anywhere else in the world?
Currently, no.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
So here we live in a place where something so unique exists. So it's really, as stewards of this planet, we need to make sure that we keep them safe. Any other interesting things happening with the network? I
think just important for people to support the stranding network, because all of these samples came from animals that stranded. So always important to be the eyes on the water and report those. And like you said, just be good stewards of the environment. Absolutely, absolutely. All right, well, thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate it. Great update. We're back after this, everyone.